Hello and welcome to your Security Boost podcast, in which we demystify security and simplify protection for your personal and business valuable assets. I am Yota Nicolaidou, your hostess. Let's get started. Hey there, I hope you're having a fantastic day and thank you so much for tuning in. So today we are going to talk about how to select the database to comply with GDPR and protect your client's private data. One of the most common questions I get regarding GDPR is, what database am I allowed to use? Before I even get a chance to reply, they continue. I am a small company. I cannot afford to pay for a secure database, or GDPR does not apply to me, or can I use Google Drive or Dropbox? Let's start with the basics because firstly, I would like to address the confusion around GDPR and the goal of these regulations, and secondly, talk about what you can and cannot afford and what the best choice for you is. Let's start with the basics because firstly, I would like to address the confusion around GDPR and the goal of these regulations. And secondly, talk about what you can and cannot afford and what the best choice for you is. Selecting a database for the needs of your business is not a one-size-fits-all. There are certain factors that define which database you need for your data. Here are the major ones. Based on data, the type of data held in the database, the amount of data held in the database, based on the access. Who will have access to it? Will it be internal or external to the company? How will they access it? What is the authentication methodology? Will they have access through a private corporate network, or will the database be available on the internet? Based on security and control. What kind of internal security mechanisms are in place to protect the data in case something goes wrong in the top level? Do you have the control of the database protection, or is it dependent on a third-party provider? How do you evaluate the third-party provider's security measures and define if they are in line with your GDPR goals? Is the provider in Europe or in another continent, for example, the United States of America? How do you control the external processor's compliance to GDPR with your data? What will be the impact of this data if breached? Based on training, are the personnel accessing the database trained accordingly to avoid cyber attacks and mistakes? Obviously, I cannot give you all the knowledge to think and evaluate the replies to all of these issues in an article. I have a full training that answers these and many other questions in case you're interested. But I will do my best to explain the starting point for GDPR compliance and protection of your data from breaches and cyber attacks. Shall I use a free database or a paid one? Price does not define the security qualities of the database. Let's take an example. Can I use Google Drive or Dropbox for my client's data? Google Drive and Dropbox are just tools like any other. It is our responsibility to use the right tool for the appropriate case. They are not intended for corporate use and clients' data protection. They have poor security by default, but most importantly, neither Google nor Dropbox will be held liable for how you use their tools. If something goes wrong, they are not liable for the data you decide to add to that account as a controller. And by controller, I mean the data owner based on the GDPR terminology. On the other hand, you are responsible for selecting the appropriate platform for specific data. The selection of the platform has to be based on the factors I outlined above. By appropriate, I'm referring to the measures and controls related to the specific account. So the first step is to define what data you have. Based on that data, a security professional will help you with the right placeholder for your data, whether this is a private database or a cloud provider that answers your needs and provides necessary protection for your client data. Let me demonstrate what I mean with an example. Currently, I collaborate with one of the biggest paid cloud providers in the world. I will not mention the name because it would be a promotion, but to understand what I mean by biggest, even governments use their cloud. Here is their stand on GDPR. They will not be held liable for the way each one of their clients use their products. They requested my services in order to guide their clients on how to use and maintain it in the best possible way to avoid attacks because they want to support their clients. It is clear, however, that the sole responsibility for the type of data and its maintenance lies with the company using the services, not the one providing it. Now, let's clarify something very important. If what they say they offer does not work properly and as a result many clients are affected, they, as a provider, will be held responsible. But if a client decides to place sensitive data to their database within correct properties and setup, it's not the fault of the cloud services provider. You have to understand, though, that database selection is not a panacea. You must select the best database for your case, but this is not enough. In security, everything is correlated and connected, and just one mistake is enough to leave you vulnerable to threat. Thus, you need to set up additional security measures, develop the appropriate policies and procedures for access, use, and maintenance of the database, and most importantly, you need to train your personnel on how to use it appropriately. If you skip any of the above, your database will lose its protective effectiveness and you will mislead yourself into thinking you are protected from cyber attacks, data breaches, mistakes, and GDPR fines. Is it possible to make an average, not very expensive solution more secure? Yes, it is, depending always on your case and the professional who is setting it up. In fact, a good professional can take medium-range tools and make them more secure and effective with the additional measures as opposed to someone who is just using the best database platform available but has not applied any other supportive measures. Remember, in security, getting complacent because you've installed a tool is the most dangerous thing you can do for your protection. You can tweet this. I hope this clarifies the situation and gives you a better understanding of database providers, cloud services, or local. If you would like my help on evaluating the database you are currently using, selecting the right database for your data, and getting the additional measures to maximize its effectiveness, you will find the details in the description of this episode. Looking forward to get in touch. So I'm now turning it over to you. If you found this information on GDPR useful, please share it with others and give me your feedback. I cannot wait to hear your comments, so leave them below or head to iotanikolaidou.com and let's continue the conversation. You will find the link in the description of this episode. Have a great day, and until next Monday, stay safe.